Before watching the video, don't forget to subscribe the channel and enable bell notification to never miss an update from us.
Hello everyone and welcome to Entri channel. This is Ashima, and in this video I'll be talking about SBI PO mains on a prior basis, about how to prepare general awareness, how to prepare current affairs for banking exams, and how you can proceed with these facts, right? So we'll be talking about all of that in this video, and this is not confined to SBI PO mains because this will be helpful for SBI clerk mains also and other banking mains examination as well. But the strategy and the topics that have been covered and the analysis which has been done of the last year paper, that has been of SBI PO. So I will say that this is more about SBI PO mains. So you can have an idea about how to prepare for all banking examinations, especially SBI PO mains. Right. So when it comes to banking awareness, when it comes to banking examinations on that part, there is a GA section which has about 40 questions, and if we you can say categorize those questions, we can see there are three major categories that are present. That is current affairs, banking awareness, and general knowledge. Now, first of all, what do these categories contain? What are the things that are there? And then how much weightage and everything is there? We'll be talking about that. So, first part, current affairs is a segment where all the recent news events are there, and recent news events being that from 5 to 6 months last. All right. So, whenever the examination is there, from that examination back to 5 to 6 months, that is a term period which is majorly asked in the current affairs segment of these examinations. If we talk about the last year paper analysis, that is of 2019, as far as I saw, there were about 30 plus questions, all the memory based though, because it's all an online examination, but an approximation of 30 plus questions were present in the examination paper of current affairs. Now, there are certain educators which will tell you that, this question is of banking awareness, or this question is related to banking, so we'll count it in banking awareness. No, there is no clear definition or defining line which differentiates that this is of banking awareness and this is of current affairs. Why do I say that? Because we do not have exact devised, you can say, boundaries to these areas, because there are times when the question is asked that who is the chairman or who has been appointed as the CEO of Yes Bank. Suppose this is the question, who has been appointed as CEO of Yes Bank. Now, that is something related to banking sector, but that is also related to appointments of current affairs, right? So we can count it in current affairs, we can count it in banking awareness. Any which ways you count it, it is involved. Any question where you see RBI does not mean it is of banking awareness, it can be from current also. So if we have a look at all the direct and indirect questions, about 30 plus questions of out of the 40 questions were from current affairs. Right? And what are these arenas that are covered? We have national awards and honors. Now, if national awards and honors is something related to banking, so banks are awarded, and in that it is there, it will still be a current affairs question, right? Then international awards and honors, books and authors, summits, capitals, currency, governance schemes, policies, international affairs, currency of countries, science and technology, sports. Now, while we are counting currency, capitals in this segment, it is something which is indirect. How indirect? For example, a news event is arising from Australia that Australia's national anthem has changed recently, or certain changes were made to the anthem of Australia. So, what is the capital of Australia? Now, here the news event in reference to is current affairs, right? So if we take all these things, then we'll say that most of the questions are from current affairs, because these days the weightage of current affairs is increasing. So how do you go ahead with studying these or memorizing these 5 to 6 months of news events? How do we understand that? For that, first thing is that you need to read a lot. Right, read a lot means a lot. That is, you need to read magazines also, you need to read newspapers also, you need to go through the news channels also for a quick review kind of thing. Second of all, after reading, you need to have notes prepared also, because when you write something, that written material is in your brain for a longer term period comparatively, right? So note making is also equally important. So first of all, reading. Second of all, note making, and the third one is attempting a lot of quizzes about, because when you are attempting the questions, you understand how the question can appear in front of you in examination. right? So for that purpose on Entry, we have every day, every weekend we have quiz. That is, every Saturday we have a quiz session, a 1 hour long session where we talk about the week's current affairs. Then we have everyday quiz on Entry app, which is updated every day with 15 to 20 questions of current affairs, and that help you in preparation and keeping in touch. So you can check out those quizzes alongside. So these are a few primary strategies that you need to follow when you're understanding or studying current affairs. After that comes banking awareness. Now, although this section has a comparatively reduced as per the last banking examinations or earlier banking examinations, this time these banking awareness questions have significantly reduced, but still it is not completely over because there are questions that come from it. They can come from abbreviations, banking terms, RBI and its functions, monetary policy, financial sector regulations, financial markets, committees, national income, world financial institutions, recent banking updates, and these recent banking updates can be counted in current affairs segment also. So wherever you count, these are areas from which banking awareness question can be there. And normally it used to have about 10 to 12 questions, but now it has reduced significantly. So if we remove these banking awareness updates, then we have about 5 to 6 questions. Otherwise, it was a 10 or 12 questions, right? So you have to be aware about all the news events. Now, recent banking awareness updates can be linked to other sectors also. For example, a question is asked that the target GDP, or you can say the contraction in GDP from April to June was at 23% approximately. So how is GDP calculated? Right? So that is something which is of banking awareness, but it also involves current news event. Right? So these are a few indirect ones. So when you're reading a news event, you need to have a bit of idea about here and there about the news event alongside not only the news event. Then the third one which we have is general knowledge. Now, that is the important days and dates which are there. National parks and wildlife sanctuaries, census. Now, national parks, wildlife sanctuaries, especially the ones which are in news, they are more important compared to other ones. Then, census, capitals, books and authors. Now, books and authors also which are released recently, which are published recently, which have made to the news recently. All of these are covered under the general knowledge awareness or books and authors. So we don't usually expect to see a quite older ones of books. We expect to see around the current affairs segment books and authors, that being 5 to 6 months, hardly 8 months old books. Right? So these are from books and authors. Now, when you've seen all of this, you can see that we don't have a clear margin. We don't have a boundary to that. We don't have a cap on that and how many questions are going to be there. But one thing is certain, that all the examinations that are happening, they bring current affairs more to the table now. So you have to be prepared to face that current affairs now. Right? So how do you prepare that? As I told you, first of all, reading the newspapers and magazines every day, then getting the updates. That can be via, you can say, these channels. Like we have everyday current affairs segment on Entri channel, also in Hindi, also in English, also in Hindi channel and English channel. Both we have current affairs every day. Then we have quizzes that happen every day, every week for that matter, and then note making of them. Now, when we have everyday current affairs on Entry channel, we talk about news event and descriptive, which helps you in making notes. So if you're watching that news event, you'll see that you can easily make notes regarding all the news events and see the alongside news events also, which I discussed because that is taken by me only. So you can check that out. That is going to help you a lot in preparation of examination and practicing of quizzes. As I told you, we have a quiz on Entry app. Everyday quiz is there. So you can check on that quiz every day, and that will help you in preparing. Right? So, what you need to do now, if you have a look at the strategy, it is nothing new, but it involves categorizing your time to the arena where you want to devote the time to the preparation. Because, as I told you, 40 questions is not something less. 40 questions are worth fighting for and preparing the notes for, right? And once you are, when I'm talking about 40 questions, out of them, 30 questions I'm talking about is current affairs. So that is a very dynamic topic, changes every day. So you have to be updated with these changes that are taking place, because that is how you will be gaining those, securing those 30 marks. And this section is not much time taking. It helps you in, you can say, saving time, because if you're prepared, if you have read 5 to 6 months of current affairs, you don't need to give much time to the question because you know the answer in a snap of fingers, right? So once you fill that up, or you fill up that time, you give the answers, you can save that time for other sections as well. right? So this is something which will help you save time if you are prepared, and will help you lose marks if you are not prepared. Any guesswork over here can cost you marks, so you have to be prepared on this. And as the weightage of these things is increasing, you have to focus more on that, right? And why are they increasing the focus? If you people would know, this section, current affairs section, holds the key to all the news events that are happening in and around the world, and being updated is what an officer is demanded for in government jobs. Someone who is updated about his whereabouts and his and theirs. So this section is gaining importance, and so you need to work on that now. Right. So, with this, I'll be taking your leave. Strategize and plan accordingly. There are courses available on Entri app. You can check that out. You can, when you download the app, you get 7 days free trial on all the courses. You can check out the app, check the courses, and see how much beneficial all these courses are going to be. And you can even make a purchase if you find any of them helpful. Right. So here I'll be taking your leave. Thank you so much. It has been wonderful interacting with all of you. In case of any doubts, in your questions to the comment section, and they will be answered as soon as they come to the notice, right? So check that out. Until then, goodbye, take care, and good luck with your preparations, all of you.